What if the very thing you throw away could become a luxury item worth thousands of dollars, somewhere in a small workshop? A bull's horn, the same horn once used only for fighting and protection, is being turned into a laptop bag rich people are willing to pay a fortune for. It sounds impossible, but it is real, and the process behind it is stranger, harder, and more beautiful than you could ever imagine. This is the story of how a simple animal horn becomes a piece of high fashion. Stay with me, because what happens inside this factory will completely change how you look at everyday objects. For most of us, a horn is just a horn. You see it on a bull's head and think nothing more of it. But in certain parts of the world, especially where white Brahman cattle are raised, that horn is treated like gold. Craftsmen have known for generations the white Brahman bull is known for its strength, its pale coat, and its long curved horns. These horns grow slowly over years, shaped by nature into thick, dense material. Most people never think twice about them, but skilled artisans see something different. They see raw potential. They see the beginning of a luxury product. This is where our story truly begins. Every great transformation needs a starting point. And this one starts far from any factory floor. It starts early in the morning on a dusty ranch where white Brahman bulls graze under the open sky. One by one, they are gently guided toward a waiting truck. Loading a bull this size is not easy. Workers move slowly, carefully, using ramps and calm voices to keep the animals steady. One wrong move, and the whole process could turn dangerous. But these are experienced hands. They have done this many times before. Soon, the truck is full. The engine starts. And the journey begins. For hours, the truck rolls down long, winding roads, leaving the ranch farther and farther behind. Dust rises behind the wheels. Fields turn into small towns, and small towns fade into open highways. Inside, the animals shift with every turn, their horns knocking gently against the metal rails. This journey is not just a delivery, it is the first step in a transformation that will turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. Finally, after miles of travel, the truck slows down. Ahead, a large building comes into view, plain on the outside, but hiding an incredible process within. This is the factory. The truck backs into position, the doors open, and one by one the bulls step down, hooves hitting solid ground for the first time in hours. From here, their journey continues in a different way, because it is not the bulls themselves that hold the secret to this story. It is what grows on top of their heads. Once a horn is collected, usually after it naturally falls off, it's trimmed as part of routine animal care, or comes from animals processed for meat, it begins a long journey. It is cleaned, sorted, and inspected by hand. Not every horn makes the cut. Workers with years of experience look for cracks, weak spots, and uneven color. Only the strongest, most flawless horns move forward. This is the moment where an ordinary object starts to become something rare. But getting a horn ready for luxury use is far harder than it looks, and that is where the real challenge begins. Turning a rough curved horn into a smooth, usable material sounds simple. It is not. The truth is far more intense than most people expect. First, the horn must be boiled or steamed for a long time. This softens the hard outer shell just enough to work with it. Too little heat, and the horn stays stiff and impossible to shape. Too much heat, and it can crack or lose its natural shine forever. Workers must judge this by feel and experience, not by a machine timer. Once softened, the horn is cut open. This step demands steady hands and total focus. A single wrong cut can destroy weeks of preparation. Slowly, the curved horn is pressed and flattened into sheets. It is almost like turning a rock into paper, only far more delicate. But here is something most people never expect. The natural color and pattern inside each horn is different every single time. No two sheets look alike. Some show deep amber swirls. Others show pale, cloudy streaks, like frozen smoke. This is not painted or added later. It is completely natural. That uniqueness is exactly why designers love it. But getting that raw sheet ready for a luxury bag is still only halfway done. What comes next is where true craftsmanship shows itself. The horn is flattened. It must be sanded again and again. This is not fast work. it can take hours just to smooth one single sheet. Any bump, any rough patch will ruin the final product. Skilled workers use their hands to feel for imperfections a machine could easily miss. Slowly, the dull material begins to glow. Layer by layer, sanding brings out a deep, natural shine that looks almost like polished stone. It is hard to believe this smooth, elegant material once sat on top of a bull's head in a field. But shining the horn is not the final challenge. The real test is joining it with leather. Without ruining either material, this is where many workshops fail, and only the best succeed. Leather and horn are completely different materials. One is soft and flexible, the other is hard and stiff. Combining them without cracks, gaps, or weak points takes serious skill. Craftsmen must measure every piece with extreme precision. A slight mismatch, and the entire bag can be ruined. The leather itself goes through its own careful process. It is chosen for strength, then cut, stitched, and shaped by hand. High-end workshops avoid rushing this step, because a laptop bag must survive years of daily use. It needs to protect an expensive device, resist scratches, and still look elegant after months of travel. Then comes the moment that separates ordinary bags from luxury pieces. The polished horn is carefully fitted onto the leather structure, often as clasps, decorative panels, handles, or design accents. Every edge must line up perfectly. Every curve must match the flow of the bag's design. This blending of horn and leather is what makes the final product so unique. Nothing about it feels mass-produced. Every single piece carries small, natural differences that prove it was shaped by real human hands, not a factory machine. For generations, horn was seen as leftover material, something farmers dealt with but rarely valued. Today, that view has completely changed. In regions where white Brahman cattle are common, horn processing has become an important small-scale industry. Creating jobs for skilled artisans who might otherwise struggle to find steady work. This shift matters more than most people realize. Instead of wasting a natural byproduct, workshops are transforming it into high-value goods. That means less waste and more income for local communities. It turns something ordinary into an economic opportunity. At the same time, ethical questions still exist. Buyers today want to know where their materials truly come from. Responsible workshops focus on using horn as a byproduct of the cattle industry rather than harming animals purely for their horns. This distinction matters enormously, both morally and for long-term trust in the brand. As awareness grows, more customers are asking sellers direct questions. Where did this horn come from? Was the animal treated humanely? Is this truly a byproduct or something else? These questions are shaping how the entire industry operates moving forward. And this brings us to the biggest turning point in this story. What started as a small craft tradition is now influencing global fashion trends. High-end designers are exploring horn accents, not just in bags but in jewelry, eyewear, buttons, and home decor. What was once ignored is now considered rare and desirable. This shift proves something powerful. Value is not fixed. It changes based on creativity, skill, and storytelling. The same horn that once seemed useless can become the centerpiece of a luxury product, simply because someone saw its hidden potential and had the skill to bring it out. It also proves how much human effort goes into things we rarely think about. When you see a smooth, glossy horn handle on an expensive bag, you probably never imagined the boiling, cutting, sanding, and shaping that happened before it reached that shelf. Every polished curve hides hours of quiet, careful work. Before any bag reaches a customer, it goes through intense quality testing. Zippers are pulled open and closed dozens of times. Handles are stretched to check their strength. The horn pieces are checked under bright light for any tiny scratch or unevenness. This is where many pieces are rejected, even after all that hard work. A slight flaw that looks tiny to normal eyes can be a deal-breaker for luxury standards. Some workshops reject up to a large portion of finished pieces simply because they are not perfect enough. This might sound harsh, but it explains why these bags cost so much. Every approved piece represents hours of skilled labor, careful material selection, and strict quality control. Nothing about it is easy, fast, or cheap to produce. And here's something that might surprise you even more. Many customers buying these bags are not just paying for a laptop case. They are paying for a piece of craftsmanship connected to farming traditions that go back generations. It is fashion built on real agricultural history. But how did this small craft turn into a global luxury trend? That answer takes us into the world of fashion itself. In recent years, designers have been searching for materials that feel both natural and rare. Leather alone is common. Exotic skins raise ethical questions, but horn offers something different.
8 uses a byproduct that would
Otherwise be thrown away and turns it into something beautiful. This idea appeals strongly to modern buyers. Many customers today care about where their products come from. They want items with a story, not just a label. A laptop bag made from white Brahman horn checks every box. It is unique. It is durable. It reflects skilled human craftsmanship instead of machine mass production. Social media has also played a huge role. Videos showing the horn shaping process have gone viral, shocking viewers who had no idea something like this existed. People are amazed to see a rough animal horn transformed into a sleek, glossy accessory. That fascination turns into demand. Luxury brands and small boutique workshops both benefit from this trend. Some produce limited collections, making each bag even more valuable because so few exist. Owning one becomes a symbol of individuality, almost like owning a piece of natural art you can carry every day. But behind this booming trend lies a much bigger transformation, one that changes an entire industry. This is where our story reaches its true meaning. The white Brahman horn bag is more than a fashion item. It represents patience over shortcuts. It represents tradition meeting modern design. It represents turning waste into wonder. Every single bag carries a hidden history, starting on a farm, moving through fire and water, shaped by skilled hands, and finally arriving as a symbol of luxury. Nothing about that journey is ordinary. Next time you see a sleek horn-accented bag in a store window, you will not just see fashion. You will see the entire process behind it. The heat, the precision, the rejected pieces, the perfect ones that finally made it through. We will understand why something this rare cannot be rushed, faked, or mass-produced without losing its soul. And maybe, just maybe, you will look at every object around you a little differently, wondering what hidden story or hard work might be behind it. So here's the real question this story leaves behind. In a world obsessed with fast, cheap, and disposable products, could this slow, careful, traditional craft be the future of true luxury? If this story surprised you, imagine how much more is happening behind the everyday items you use without a second thought. If you enjoyed uncovering this hidden world, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Tell us which part shocked you the most. Don't forget to like this video if it opened your eyes to something new. And subscribe for more incredible true stories waiting to be uncovered.